So Anas, do you hear me now?
Yeah.
So now let's continue the chapters that we have studied, and today with the chapter of number 13. This chapter is very simple, but we need to master it quickly. Let's see. About the apostrophe, you know, apostrophe plural versus possessive. Very simple indeed. As we know, for the structure is apostrophes that we need to have. Noun, apostrophe S, noun. As we mentioned, my father's car. Father is the owner. Car is the ownership. This is feeling. Let's discuss it together. The birds are flying. More than one bird is flying. Is that is correct?
Yes.
That is right, because you mentioned it's a plural. The businesses are open. More than one business is open. Do we have here any possessive? No, it's about the plural noun. I mean, Anas, this is one is singular, right?
Yes.
And this is one, it's a apostrophe S. Scientist, but it's a plural. Plural means S or S or IS, as you know. But that's one is singular possessive. Scientist, comma, apostrophe S. Scientist, apostrophe S. So that means the honor is singular, was scientist. Here is the honor is business, and it's singular. Here it's a plural possessive. The honored scientist, it's a plural. But why did we delete apostrophe S, the second S? Because it's a plural. I believe to know. That example is the birds plural. The business plural. Up here, the bird, apostrophe S, wings are red. Ask yourself, what are red? The bird or the winds? In this example, what are red?
Wings.
So the subject is winds. That means, Anas, when I find this is one in the test, the second noun after apostrophe S is the subject without thinking. About this one, what is new? The business or the policy?
The business.
The business. The business or the policy?
Policy.
The policy after apostrophe S here. But no, the possessor, the owner. Here it's singular, but here it's singular. But we are talking about the noun after apostrophe. This is one, wins. This is one, policy. So that's the subject, plural, so it must be are. Here singular, it must be is. How about another one? The birds wings. What are red? The winds.
Yes.
What are new? The policies. But here it's about birds. But we delete. But remember, Anas, the apostrophe after the noun. That means the birds are plural. You got that? But after the apostrophe, we don't have the possessive S. Because the honor, the noun before the apostrophe is plural. The same with the businesses. But be careful, where is the apostrophe? Let's try another one. Do you remember the irregular regular plurals like a child, children, fish, feet, you know?
Yes.
Now, Smiles, you know this one. It won't help you to know is it single or plural. Let's try another example. To form the possessive of a singular irregular noun. How could you know? So simple. Look, the mouse, apostrophe S, whiskers. So that means the whiskers of the mouse. But look for the structure. The mouse, the word mouse doesn't have S at the end. So that means you must find the S after apostrophe. And here, the noun before apostrophe S, it's singular. Okay, and it does not have the letter S. That means you must find the S.
Mm.
You found it?
Yes.
The same here, the mice, apostrophe S whiskers. The women, here the women, it's a plural, okay, but it does not have the letter S. So you must find the S after apostrophe. It's so simple. Now let's go to see some examples. The newspapers distributed nationally. Is the apostrophe here possessive S or a contracted for is?
Contract.
Why? Because the rule of the apostrophe S, a noun. A noun, it means honor. Apostrophe S, noun. But that means distributed nationally, it's not a noun. So that means is the newspaper is distributed nationally. But the structure here is contraction. Contraction, it means shorter form. Now look for this one. The managers requested a report. Requested, it's not a noun. But that means the manager has requested a report. Why? Because apostrophe here refers to has, and it's contracted. As you know, I am, he's, he is. You got it? Let's try an example. Now it's your turn, please, Dr. Anas. How could you answer number 1?
Artist colony is a place where creative. B.
So why do you think it's B? And why not C?
C.
Now we need to know why not.
Because the first subject they put S can't call it a comma apostrophe.
Let's try together. An artist colony is a place where creative practitioners live and interact with one another. Without thinking, look, after apostrophe S, is it a noun? That's a verb, live and interact. That means A is wrong. That means without thinking, C is wrong. And for this structure, we don't have comma, apostrophe, comma. Why? Because if you put comma here, as you know, it refers to fragment. So that means you don't have a noun after apostrophe. And we should have. Why? Why we should have to express position? So that means here, D is wrong. So Anas, without thinking from the form of the answer, it's wrong. So that means B is the best one. How about number 2?
2, B.
So why do you think why C is
because
wrong?
Because after the subject a verb.
And
so we don't put apostrophe S.
Sure about that?
Yes.
So that means C wrong, apostrophe S. Why is wrong?
Because it's not plural. It's not singular.
It's sure?
Yes.
Remember, they have exhibited hundreds of artists' works and they provided important spaces for collaboration and experimentation. So artist here, singular or plural?
Artist, singular.
So do we need it singular or do we need it plural?
Singular.
How did you know singular?
Because we need it singular, because it's the artist singular.
Now, let's find about the refer. You have answered in question number 1, an artist. So are we talking about singular noun or plural noun?
Singular.
The artist here, look, the apostrophe after, before the apostrophe.
Oh.
Artist is the plural.
Mm.
You mentioned,
Yes.
but even though they said they, that means the plural. But we are talking about artist plural. Look again, colonies often selected their artist. So the mentioned noun here, it must be plural. So without thinking, A, artist is singular, wrong. C, artist singular, wrong. So your answer must be B or D. And B, we
D.
don't have apostrophe.
D.
So it must be D without thinking. So Anas, we need to focus on the structure. So Anas, about this point, number one, I must check that the noun before apostrophe, singular or plural, and the apostrophe, it has S or not. It depends on the noun before. And about the noun after S, do we have noun or not? Let's jump for something else quickly. About this point, do you remember it's and it?
Yes.
As you know, it's a contraction about it is, it has, it's this one for possessive, as you know. But remember, this structure, it's not in English. But we can find it in informal language. But this we call it vulgar language, slang language, colloquial language. We don't care about it. But we are here for the academic structural writing. Let's see. Now try to guess with me why A and B here wrong. But think carefully.
The first, the second. Because they used it's with the apostrophe S.
That's right. And in this position, we don't need a sentence start with it is. We need to know it possessive. You get that? Possessive pronoun. So it's vastness threat. That means is wrong. And the same one, look, structure does not exist in English. In academic writing, I mean. How about this one? It's correct. It's how about there? Do you remember? They are, they're possessive, they're for existence.
Yes.
Now let's check an example. Tell me, please, why it's wrong.
Although there usually, it must be there or usually.
Yeah, look for this one. This one is not something to own. Usually powered by rowers. It's not ownership. That means wrong. The same here. There, after there, we need place or verb, like there has been, there could have been, there is, there are. Do you know it? So also they're usually powered by rowers who are powered by rowers who don't have subject. So that means here also they are usually powered, correct? Do you know it? And here we have the passive voice structure. Look, are powered by rowers. But that means this structure is correct. Try something else. How about this one? Why it's incorrect?
This one? Because they use there are and there.
The same here. We don't need a sentence because it must be possessive for their effectiveness. Type there here refers to the virus or the vaccines.
A vaccine.
The vaccine's right, effectiveness in preventing virus. How about there? Look for the there. So clear. How about number one?
Number one, there are because it's located close, snow often falls there. It must not be there or there. Because snow we can't own it, and it must be there because it tells us the location.
Yeah, right. And this is one, the logic, the content refers to existence or place. Look, often falls there. and they're mentioned to the mountains, the Rocky Mountains. Have you got that?
Yes.
So clear. Now let's go to this one. Very simple. You are, your, or your for possession. Possessive form of you. Let's try this example. The first few hours of the workday can have significant effect on your, here expression of possessive, on your level. So I need your, not you are.
Yes.
You've got the meaning?
Yes.
That's so simple. Let's jump for something else. Do you remember this one? Whose, the same pronunciation but different use. Whose, who is, or who has. Type whose for possessive form of who, as you know. Do you remember the relative pronouns? When, where, which, whom, whose, whatever, this is way. To determine which version is correct, plug in who is. For example, Delphi Norman is an American opera singer. Who's known? After whose, Anas, after whose, we need ownership. Who's what? You know? What does he or she or it have? So that means who is known. So it must be who is known for her moving. It can be correct. Why? Because known for her moving, it's not possessive structure. It's not something to own. That's all. Now it's your turn, Dr. Anas. Tell me why this one is not correct.
Because the who is performed, no. It must who's performed.
That's all. Why? Because performance in here, ownership. You know? Ownership it can be concrete or abstract, as you know. That's perfect. You've got it. Do you remember about that? That's this is way?
Yes.
Remember, this structure is wrong. But we can use it in informal language. And in formal language, we don't use it in SAT. And as you know, he is, she is, this is way. Let's jump to something new. Oh, it's your turn right now. Read the question carefully and let's answer. Identify
any plural or possessive error involving the underlying pronoun. Write the correct version of the word on the some of the underlying pronoun may not contain an error.
So faster, Anas. Who can we change it?
Despite it's wrong. It must be it's, not it is.
It's a possessive one. Why? Because brilliance and the power, it's a trait or it's a character. You know what that means? We should have possessive one, ITS. Correct. How about number 2?
2. The president believes that human being would eventually be replaced by creature who I think it's correct. Whose creature who is body whose bodies wrong, whose, not who is.
So WHOSE, whose for?
Yes.
Relative pronoun, that's correct. So whose bodies were half human and half machine. It's correct. Now for number 3, the last one for this part. 3 is?
Make have tried to produce sound for hundreds of years, but all of their wrong.
So why it's wrong?
There are attempts, no.
Sure about that?
Yes, THEIR.
So it must be?
THEIR.
Right, noun. That means possessive pronoun, their attempt. It's correct. Let's jump for something. So I will leave the rest for you homework to practice.
Okay.
And now, Dr. Anas, we need to jump to a test to practice what we have studied the last chapters from 1 to 13.
Okay.
Let me make it faster. Don't worry, take your time and we'll correct it together. For the writing section first, because we have up to now in the writing section studying. How about order by order and it means according to what you have studied. Number 2 is and why. Bigger.
Number 2, while vertical farming techniques are much more efficient in its I think it's D.
D, sure?
Yes.
So D is correct. Why? We need to know. Why not C?
Not C because it's not a place.
That's correct. And why not B?
Not B because it must not be it.
Right, because and this is part of the writing. We don't have a sentence starts with it is. So why not A?
Because it's not
because Anas, it refers to vertical farming techniques and techniques plural not singular, so it must be there. How about number 3?
Number 3,
yes,
vertical farmers use less water than do traditional places, like traditional use than I think it's the C.
final decision.
Yes.
And why not D?
Traditional form because they didn't use ER.
Right, and let's see, mention you or remind you about the parallelism. Vertical farmers use less water than do. So we make a comparison between vertical farmers and the traditional farmers. Now the comparison is logical. So that means it must be C. It's about farmers, not farms or the listings. You got that? But
yes.
remember, Anas, again and again, don't use the rule of shorter is better in any question. Before you use it, make it clear.
Okay.
You understand this point? Remember. Now let's try something else. For number 4. We don't have studied adding yet. How about number 5?
Number 5, because their indoor facilities can be replaced anywhere there is I think it's C.
I don't think so. C is wrong. Remember, Anas, I have told you about the chapter of redundancy. Redundancy means don't use double words or 3 words for one meaning. It means we need shorter, concise, precise, direct meaning. If you said it just about enough, it's informal language. And here it's academic one. That means be wrong. If you mention it C, unobjectionable amount of, and that is opposite to the content. How to say it's additional amount? You got that?
Yes.
And if you said a plenitude of essential, it's redundant. What do you see? A plenitude of essential. Just say sufficient or enough. And that means here many words or unnecessary words to express a simple meaning. So is the shortest one here is sufficient. So why sufficient? Because sufficient, number 1, academic word related to the content and the precise and the concise. You got it, Anas?
Yes.
Now let's jump to number 6. What is it and why? Quickly.
Light vertical can be located where they had been. Where they were. I think it's B.
Final decision.
Yes.
Say you think it's B. Why? C is wrong.
See, because they produced or they were where they are must not.
طب أنس, let's think together. Because their indoor facilities can be placed anywhere. There is sufficient light and energy. Vertical farms can be located where they, so the verb here, talking about vertical farms. Because ask yourself, what is most needed? The vertical farms.
Yes.
So vertical farm, singular or plural?
Single.
Singular. All of them correct. But ask yourself, we need a past or present? Because C plural, V plural, D plural. So ask yourself again about the parallelism. Do you remember parallelism in tense?
Yes.
Can be here, look, can, help and verb to express present. And is present tense. Can be, can, present tense. So that means you need here present or past. You need present. Remember, Anis, we need about like that. Parallelism in tense, if the sentence has a present simple tense, it must be present simple. Past, past, as we agreed. So that means your answer must be present. So C and D present. But we agreed that present continuous to express temporary action. And in this line, we are talking about facts. Vertical farms can be located where they are most needed. So the present simple expresses facts. Present continuous indeed expresses temporary. You know, temporary for a short time, for a specific time. So that means C is the best answer. Why? Farms, plural, it needs R plural. Number 2, the content of the sentence is scientific, science. That means we need to use present simple in C, not present continuous in D. So C is the best answer. Remember, Anas, we need just to think quickly. You have maximum 10 seconds. How about number 7 and why?
Most needed in cities not only provides assistance with fresh product, but also produce, but it must be before it comma, yes?
Which one?
7, but also
do you remember the correlative conjunction? Correlative conjunction like that? Both and, either or, neither nor, but only but also. Structure, correlative structure. So we have here in the sentence, look, establishing farms in cities not only provide residents with fresh produce, but also. So the first step, make sure that the structure is correct. Not only correct, but also needed. So that means in C, we don't have but. In D, you don't have the word but. Do you know it? So B, C, D wrong without thinking. But why A is correct? Number 1, the structure is correct. Not only, but also. Plus, look, after not only present simple provides, so but also it must be present simple reduces. That means the structure is parallel, in parallelism, correct? Have you got it, Anas?
Yes.
That's perfect. Let's jump to number 8. Number 8, We have not studied yet. How about number 9? Quickly, we have 10 seconds.
Number 10 or 9? 9.
Number 9.
Let's have showing that farming light can visible on large and great. B.
Sure about that?
Yes.
So for B, sure?
Yes.
But why C is wrong?
Because the large, extensive, it's not right.
Sure about that?
Yes.
It's correct indeed.
Mm.
That means here redundant. Large, it means extensive. Large means extensive, so large is the first one.
Mm.
So perfect. How about number 10? Be careful.
More experiments are necessary to demonstrate the value of vertical farms, which
Quickly, Anas.
D.
Sure about that?
Yes.
Let's see. Final one you said is?
D.
So why do you think it's D correct?
Because it's saying this sponsor this Pomir, professor of public health. It's a sentence. It's
Anas, let me remind you about something. We agreed that we can put non-essential information between two commas or between two dashes or between two brackets. Do you remember?
yes.
Do you remember the essential information and non-essential information? Let's see. You mentioned here which Dickens, you know? Dickens Dispommier, who is a professor of public health and environmental health sciences, sciences at Columbia University, comma. That means remember subject, comma, information, comma, verb. Remember this structure?
Yes.
That means you must have a comma in this part. So A, it does not have a comma. It has a comma. But where is the comma? Remember about the placement of the comma, very important.
Yes.
That means we should have the comma before the professor.
Before professor.
It must be here. Why? Dickens subject, comma, information, comma, verb. So it must be here. So the comma must be before professors. Look here, it's after of, wrong. Look here, it's before of, wrong. Here, we don't have commas at all. So that means B is the best answer. Why? Number one, subject is this formula, comma, the information, professor of blah, 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 to the verb, comma, believes. You found it?
Yes.
That is correct. But that means subject, comma, non-essential information, comma, verb. That is perfect. How about next one? Number 12, faster, Anas, please.
Number 12, many African American musicians write D.
Sure about that?
Yes.
So you find it is D. So D is correct. Why? It's listed. Do you remember?
Yes, and they put a bit after and comma, so it's wrong. They put before and semicolon, it's wrong.
It's perfect, perfect, Anas. How about number 13?
13. Other artists looked for ways to use their skill to increase. A.
Think again.
To
But A is wrong, Anas.
invent,
Think again.
to invent the cause of C.
Sure about that?
Yes.
But why D is wrong?
Because to elaborate the cause, others look for way to use their skill to elaborate the cause of civil rights.
Let me help you, Anas.
It's
Remember the chapter of the word choice? We agreed
yes.
that it can be informal or informal language. It can be about the logic words related to the content. It means, look, they want to do something with the cause of civil rights. Cause it means the target, the end. Why do we call for civil rights? If we said here enlarge is not correct because enlarge needs to make it bigger. So that means we don't need to make the cause bigger. That means not related to the content. How about D? Elaborate it means to overstate, over-explain. But here in the content, the African American musicians don't want to explain what means the cause of the civil rights. Do you know it? Because they looked for ways to use their skills to advance. Well, advance it means, you know, to make the cause most famous. Practice, you know?
Yes.
That means the best sense to advance. And we can use advance for technology or for reasons or for experiments or for causes. This is why. How about number 14? Fast runners, please.
14. It's C.
Final decision.
Yes.
So C is correct. But wait, why B is wrong?
Because B is wrong because they use a comma after it.
That is the point. Two commas or two dashes, two brackets, two slashes, the same way, correct. How about number? Let me choose what we have studied. Number 16. Take your time.
However, Hajime was passionate about inspiring her fellow artists to become more outspoken in search of civil rights. However, she no A.
Sure about that?
Yes.
But A is wrong. Think again, fast.
D.
But why D?
Because she was, however, regardless and the contrary. Regardless and however are the same.
Do you remember this rule?
Yes.
But I remind you, Anas, and we agreed that if you find two choices, the same relation, do not delete or remove or cross them out until you make sure that the previous sentence is contrastive or not to the following sentence. But here I am so lucky. Why? A to express contrast, however. B to express contrast regardless of. On the contrary is the same. That means D. But wait, it's the previous sentence. Do not coordinates or continues or explain something in the following. Yes. But that means we don't need transition words here. Why? The previous sentence continues to the following sentence. That means it is the best one. Do you remember this rule?
Yes.
Perfect. Number 18, quickly.
18.
Yes.
Simon knew about playing more vocal parts in movement were based in the movement where D,
Do you think D? Why?
because it's singular.
What is singular?
Vocal part.
Sure about that?
Yes.
But think again, what is based largely on her misgivings about mixing politics, blah, 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 to the end.
Hmm.
Do you remember here, look, Simon's unease. Do you remember how could
Yes.
I know the subject? About preposition, delete. So delete about playing more vocal. It has no the subject. In preposition phrase again, in the movement. So that the subject in this part, Simon's apostrophe se, unease. So unease here, it's noun, correct? So the subject after
Yes.
apostrophe s. Do you remember?
Yes.
So the subject is unease was based.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
And unease, it's abstract noun and it is singular. Perfect, Anas, letter B is the best one. How about next one for 20? Wait. 20, yes. اكواك لدكتور أنس.
The events in 1964, she wrote and performed her first protest song to express her the event to A.
So why B is wrong?
If,
Let me remind
because
you.
it's
The trick here or the chapter of combination. We need to combine two sentences. But remember, two complete sentences. We have to use number one to make the structure shorter. Shorter means precise, concise, direct, correct. The second one is about combination, but keep the intended meaning. And it changes the structure, but keep the same meaning. So, the meaning here, according to the previous sentence, we'll find that news of violent acts carried out against civil rights demonstrators and even bystanders shocked the public. Correct? That means the events so dismayed Simon. Do you see the structure? So that. So that means to express cause and effect. That means in the events dismayed Simon. So that she wrote and performed. It's correct. If you choose B, events dismayed Simon, semicolon. That means the information before the semicolon is not combined, is not related to the information after the semicolon.
And they wrote the Simon wrote and performed it, but she's the one who wrote.
That means in Simon wrote and performed not because she is dismayed. You know, but she is dismayed because the acts, the action against the civil rights demonstrators. That's okay. But why C is wrong? Fragment between two commas, to her dismay. That means to her dismay, not important. No, it's important to the content of the previous sentence. That means C is wrong. The same problem with D, dismaying her. Dismaying her, that means not important? No, it's important. So that's the best structure to the intended meaning. It's A, not B or C or D. Have you got it, Anas?
Yes.
That's perfect. Now your turn, number 21. Faster.
The stage and could be used to promote the struggle for civil rights and someone said it. for the right and B.
Final decision.
Yes,
So why do you think it's B?
because he's talking. It was in the past.
It wasn't the past, correct? What else?
Uh, and he's talking not about the future. He's talking about the present.
Sure about that?
Yes.
So it can be yes, correct. Your reason is correct. Now let's jump to something else. How about number 23?
Specialized within the field of B.
Final decision.
Yes.
So why do you think it's B?
First, the shorter the better.
No, I told you, Anas, don't use this rule.
Oh, okay.
This rule, it will make you answer many questions wrong. Why? Because this rule works only with 2 or 3 questions after confirmation. Let's try again, please.
Specialized within the field of beings. D.
Sure about that?
Yes.
Final decision?
Yes.
But D is wrong.
Being a specialized within the field of C.
Sure about that?
Yes.
Let me help you, Anas. Anas, ask yourself, are we talking about a specialist, plural, or a specialist, singular?
Singular.
I told you about this rule. It's about number agreement, number. We're talking about singular, plural. You mentioned here it's psychologist. So that means we need parallelism in specialist. So a specialist here in B or C or D, B and D. So without thinking, D is redundant. Why? Those that are specialists within the field. Then I see that's a specialist with the field and finished. So B is more concise than D. Concise, it means shorter, direct meaning. So B is the best answer. Why? A specialist plural. Number 2, the structure is short and concise. That's all. How about 24 and why?
24. It's though hiring an eye to an expense a company maybe B.
But B is wrong. Think again.
A.
Sure about that?
Yes.
But it's wrong.
Taking C.
Think again, Dr. Anas. Let me help you, Anas. Anas, be careful about it. Maybe here it's one word. Do you know it? That means it's adverb. It means perhaps, or possibly, or probably. But here it's a structure of verb. May, helping verb, be main verb. Okay? That means your answer must be C or D. Why? Because in this position, we need a verb. Though hiring an IO psychologist is an expensive, a company may be, طيب, may be here, worry or worry?
worry.
Because worry, you know, the letter D, worry here, as I told you, it means exhausted, tired, you know, something old, something finished, antique. But worry here, it's about to be cautious, to be careful of. You know, so the company must be wary of hiring a psychologist. So Anas means worry in C, it means cautious, to be careful. And this is the intended meaning. So C is the best answer. Next one, and the last one for you, don't cry. Number 25.
25.
Yes, it is.
Consult with organization to study how employees interact with each other and respond to challenge. For example, he has worked with NASA to study team among astronauts and dying. It's not C.
So it's not C, correct?
Or A.
All right, A and C wrong. Perfect.
Okay. Variable inheritance. I think it's inherits. D. B.
Sure?
Yes.
It's perfect. Why B and D? D apostrophe S, look, inherent. Inherent, is it a position? Is it something to own? Is it a noun? No. That means B is the best answer. Perfect answer. The last one, sorry for that, the last one. Number 26.
Okay. Inherit in isolated and it's not dodgy.
So B is wrong.
Yes. And A wrong.
A is wrong.
The shanty environment, no. C is wrong, and then it's D.
So why D is correct?
Hmm?
Do you remember, Anas, about the word choice chapter?
Yeah.
Informal, delete. Dramatic language, delete. Abusive language, delete. Unclear language, delete. So hazard is here. Do you remember the vocab?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a point. And the word hazards related to the content. Do you remember hazards working with the science, environment, biology, chemistry?
Has this mean danger?
That's a point. Perfect, Anas. All right, Anas, you're working very well today. But don't worry, I will make it easier. So now, Dr. Anas, we have finished this session today. But I'd like you, number one, to read the history chapters very careful. To revise the vocab, very critical. All right?
All right.
Okay, Anas, so let me ask you a personal question. Do you have any problem at home?
No.
With study or with yourself or with your mind, with your body?
No.
That means you are safe and sound?
Yes.
It's okay, Dr. Anas. So I want to thank you very much indeed for meeting you today. And you worked excellent in a way.
Okay.
So, inshallah, after the session, I will send you all the materials on the WhatsApp. And I'd like you to work harder as usual. And if you find any trouble or you detect any disaster, contact me directly.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Dr. Anas. So now let me tell you bye-bye to you, Dr. Anas.
Bye.
Enjoy your time. Bye-bye, Anas.